The movie starts with a man receiving a package from FedEx. The box has a sticker of angel wings on it, and the person who received it says it is from his wife, even though he is already in a relationship with another woman. Next, we meet Chuck, who is the main character of the story. He works in a high position at FedEx, analyzing their systems. Chuck takes his job very seriously. He travels around the world and is currently in Russia to make the hub more productive. To accomplish this, he sent a package from Memphis, Tennessee, to Nikola, Russia, where it was delivered to someone's house. A child from that house goes to the FedEx center and gives the delivery to Chuck. Chuck opens the package and finds a clock inside. It began at 0 and reached its end after 87 hours and 22 minutes. According to Chuck, it is not okay for a package to take 87 hours to reach its intended place. Chuck Noland is a person who always follows strict schedules and due dates. It is very important to him that the things get delivered to their owners on time. Even though his personal life has been chaotic, he has still been able to have a long-term relationship with his girlfriend, Kelly. He sends her a message from Russia, telling her that he will be coming back to Memphis in about 18 hours, and will meet her soon. They are a very loving couple that you can't even imagine. The couple attends a big Christmas dinner with the Nolan family, and Chuck's brother mentions the idea of them getting married. But they both giggle and dodge giving a response. Chuck realizes that he has to go to a dentist because he is feeling a lot of pain in his tooth when he eats. Kelly is watching him, so he looks at his pager. He has to go back to work, even though it's Christmas time. And because he is very committed to his job, he plans to leave. She agrees to what he said and tells him to come back home before New Year's Eve. She also gives him an old watch that has been in the family for a long time as a gift for Christmas. Chuck is emotionally touched by the gift she gave him. Before he goes, he gives her a small box, but she mistakenly thinks it's a ring. He says to her that when he comes back, they will open it together. After that, he travels by plane with 4 more people who work on the plane. They experience a strong storm a few hours after taking off, and Chuck hears the pilots talking about losing communication with radio. Then, something inside the plane breaks, which causes the plane to shake violently. The plane starts to have problems, and one of the pilots hits Chuck in the head, trying to make him go back to his seat. Chuck sees that the water is getting closer. The plane crashes into the ocean, and water starts to fill up the plane. Chuck starts to drown. He uses the inflatable lifeboat given by the pilot and is able to float. But the weather is not good and big waves from the ocean start hitting him. He is in a very serious situation where his life is at risk, but luckily, he survives and ends up on an island where no one else is present. He just managed to reach the island using the rescue raft, and he realizes that he still has his watch with him. He also finds a few FedEx packages that have been pushed onto the shore. He picks up the presents and realizes that he is all by himself for many kilometers, with no other island in sight. He creates a sign on the ground to get the attention of planes flying by. He watches the clock that Kelly gave him, and his first day on the island ends. The next day, he finds a couple more presents. He discovers coconuts on the island and uses them to satisfy his thirst. He keeps looking around the island and finds a cave. He climbs up on the island to see things better, and sees something in the water. He jumps into the water to check it out. But to his surprise, it is the dead body of the pilot who tried to rescue him. He digs a grave for the dead person, and offers a resting place for the person who tried to help. And soon, his second day would end, and he had no plans to leave the island. He continues to look at the picture of Kelly on the watch she gave him. On the third night, he notices a ship that is very far from the island. He yells for help, but he is too distant for the ship to hear him. He turns on the little flashlight, but it doesn't work. He gathers his things and uses the damaged raft, hoping to reach the ship. The tides are very powerful, and he gets thrown into the water. His leg is cut off on a coral reef, and he screams in pain. The person came back to the island after being unsuccessful, and it started to rain really hard. He goes into the cave that he found a few days ago, to stay dry from the rain. He finds a small river inside and starts to drink from it. He falls asleep because he is very tired from the day, and the small light also becomes weaker. He opens the packages the following day, hoping to discover something helpful. He finds a volleyball inside one of the bags. He also finds ice skates and a dress. Now, he can easily cook coconuts by using the boot. And he uses the dress to catch small fish. He opens all of the packages but leaves one unopened because it has a sticker that looks like angel wings on it. He doesn't open the package because it motivates him to keep going and give the present to the right person. He builds a small tent and tries to start a fire. He tries for a long time without success, and eventually, because he has a wound on his hands, he yells loudly and throws anything he can find. He finds his handprint with blood on the volleyball a few minutes later. He draws a face on the volleyball and puts it in front of him, so it seems like he has company. He begins to talk to the ball and eventually succeeds in starting a fire. He becomes very happy and starts dancing around the fire. He is finally happy about something he found. He gets a crab ready and cooks it over a fire. At the same time, he chats with the ball. Wilson is the name that he chose for the ball. The following day, he suffers from a severe toothache. He pulls out his teeth using an ice skate and a rock, but he passes out while doing it. He has been stuck on this island for 4 years, and he has changed a lot since then. Wilson's hair and beard have grown a lot. This has caused him to change a lot, and it has been an important part of his life on the island. It has helped him stay strong and keep going. One day, while asleep in his cave, he wakes up because he hears a loud noise. He goes outside to see what is happening and discovers a broken piece of a door made of plastic. He picks it up and takes it with him. He is thinking about what he should do with it. Finally, he understands what he is able to do with it. He creates a chart every month to figure out the time. Right now, it is February. He tells Wilson that they will leave in April because the waters will be less rough at that time. Chuck plans to depart the island in 2 months. He starts building a wooden raft to run away. He makes ropes out of tree bark and uses them to tie the wood together. When he doesn't have any ropes left, he uses cassette tapes to hold the woods together. However, he still needs additional rope. He goes up the island to get more rope for the raft. We can tell that he has almost given up on life and has thought about ending it in the past 4 years. He didn't do it before, but now he is using a rope and putting the plastic sheet on his raft to help it move in the water. The time has come. Before getting on the ship with Wilson, he writes a message on a rock. He starts to paddle the raft to keep it safe from the rough ocean waves. He fights against the waves and manages to keep the raft floating. He thinks he has found the answers to all the problems. He feels happy and spends a lot of time on the raft, wishing it will take him back to his house. But he doesn't know that there will be more problems coming. He hasn't drunk any water, and he hasn't eaten anything. So he begins to drink the water that fell from the sky and got saved in his floating platform, and he also catches fish to eat. Then, one night, it starts to rain very hard, and he holds on to the raft very tightly because his life is in danger. After the storm, the raft is in really bad condition and he can't find Wilson. He asks for the ball, which has been his only friend for the last 4 years. He starts to get scared and then sees Wilson moving away from the raft in the water. He jumps in to rescue him. He uses one hand to grab Wilson and the other to hold onto the raft. The rope on the raft keeps sliding. Throughout everything that has happened, Wilson and him have become more distant from each other. He tries, but he cannot reach Wilson. He eventually gives up hope of ever seeing him again and cries a lot because he is very sad about losing his only friend on the island. Wilson is not here anymore, and the raft is broken into pieces. He seems to have lost hope. He gets sick and can't move. A big sea creature sprays water on a person, and we notice a boat going by in the background. He finally wakes up and sees a very big ship sailing by. He finally gets help and is no longer struggling and sad. After 4 weeks, he goes back to his hometown to see his family and Kelly. His friend tells him that everyone thought he was dead, and they had a funeral for him. He sees someone he doesn't seem to know after arriving. The man says he is Kelly's husband. Kelly is feeling very overwhelmed and confused, making it difficult for them to see him. They try their best to explain, but are unable to speak or know what to say or do. The person he loved the most, who he thought about all the time while living on the island for more than 4 years, got married to another person. His loved ones and friends have a celebration to honor that he made it through a difficult situation. Chuck looks at a lobster when no one else is around, and it makes him think of the crabs he ate on the island. He quickly looks at a lighter, which reminds him of how important fire was to him. He cannot sleep in his own bed. He is sitting on the floor, looking at the same watch that Kelly gave to him many years ago. He wants to find a way to move on, even though she got married to someone else. So he gets in a taxi and goes to Kelly's house. Kelly opens the door and asks him to come in. He is going to speak, but she suddenly hugs him. He gives her the watch she gave him, and she is surprised to find out that he still has it. He wants her to watch over it, because it's an important item passed down in their family. She shows him the car that she kept when he disappeared. Chuck gets into the car. They kiss, but Kelly quickly stops herself. As Chuck starts driving away, she realizes she still needs to say more things. She shouts at him and quickly moves towards him. Chuck steps out of his car, and they share a kiss. She says she had to release him, after looking for him for 4 years. But she has always had feelings for him, and she will continue to have feelings for him forever. Chuck confesses that he also has feelings of love for her. But he understands that it is too late for them to make up. She also cannot leave her family behind. So, they choose to go separate ways. He leaves in his car and plans to bring all the packages he got to the island. He stops at a house but can't find anyone there. So he leaves the package with a note that says it saved his life. He stops the car to check the map and think about what to do next. Then a lady stops her vehicle and asks if she can help him. Chuck is curious about where the road in front of him will lead him. The lady answered his question and went back to her car. As she drives away, He sees the same angel wings on the back of her truck that were on the package he didn't open on the island. That package saved his life because it inspired him to continue going.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, please turn on the notifications and click the like button to support the channel. See you in the next video.